Early days in a Minecraft world and you've built a quick box for shelter. But don't leave it as a box. Turn it into a home. This is not a block by block tutorial. Instead, I'm talking about something more enduring and adaptive. I'm going to show you basic build principles so you can build a better house every time. Now if we come in here, we've got everything we need for the first couple of days. Some chests for storage, somewhere to sleep, a little basic crafting area, but you're quickly going to outgrow this. The easiest way to extend a house to turn a box into a home is to think about what spaces you need and have one room per function. So just off the top of my head, I've come up with somewhere to sleep, a crafting area, storage area, larger scale smelting, an enchanting room, and maybe we'll add somewhere for brewing. So I'm going to start by just roughly mapping out where I want each of these new rooms to go. The enchanting room's the easiest to start with. It has to be a minimum 5 by 5 space internally so that you can have max level 30 enchants. I think I'll add it off this side. You can add it wherever you like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One for the back wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One for the side wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll add a door. We want a nice entrance. See how this is a big flat space? We want to break up big flat spaces. That's something you really want to do. So we might make the entrance 5 blocks as well. 4, 5. Now where it's coming down in the terrain, you can either flatten everything out and build on the flat, or you can be adventurous and just go with it. We'll put the door in the same spot. And now I add the other rooms off the central box. Vary the size and proportions. There's no wrong here. If your original box was too large, break it up to increase the size of the new rooms. Just make sure the rooms are big enough to be functional. That little room in the corner is probably too small. I'll fix it later. So I'm just going to take out this. Now you do not have to destroy part or all of your box. If you're happy with your little box house, build around it. Make the box the central part of your home. So there's our footprint. That's a much more interesting shape. That gives us plenty of scope to build an interesting house. Now that we've got that done, let's talk about palette. Keep the palette simple. Less is definitely more. 2 or 3 different blocks for a wall is probably enough. However, don't use just one type of block for a wall. I've chosen a fairly simple palette. I've got planks with matching stairs and logs, in this case oak, for the main walls. I've decided to build the smelting room in cobble, and I've got a number of toning blocks for added texture. Making part of your build from a completely different block set can be a good strategy. For the roof, I'm using spruce in various forms, including trapdoors and pressure plates for spawn proofing. As a general rule, roofs should be made of darker blocks than the walls. This isn't hard and fast, but it's a useful guiding principle. So the easiest way to start with making your house look different and nicer is to start with a frame. Now some people add a frame outside their wall space. I'm not going to do that. We're going to keep it simple. On every corner we're going to build up to a height of 4. That's 3 for the room and 1 for the ceiling. Don't make rooms shorter than 3 blocks. If you've got it 2 blocks, it feels really cramped. Where you've got the terrain going down, add extra blocks for the dip in the terrain. And we're going to do this at every corner. And you don't have to use oak, use whatever material you want. Right, with all the framework done, now we're going to start filling in our walls. Now where you've got door frames, make them 3 high. I know doors are 2 high. I'll show you a little trick. We'll get to it. coming round to the smelting area, I don't want it in wood. There's a lot of heat there, there's a lot going on. I want it in something that's fireproof. There's no reason for this. There's nothing in there that can actually cause your house to catch fire. This is just for the look of things. So have a think when you're building about what the narrative of your building is. What's the function of each room? And is there a function of a particular room that lends itself to using a different material? You want variety. You don't want to go crazy. You don't want too much variety, but you want some. And if you can think of a reason to change a block up and what to change it to, that can really help with what do I do with my build. Knock in any doors that you need to access your different rooms. That's the walls done. Now we can talk about the roof. We'll talk about the second floor when we've got the roof started. We're just going to do a simple A-frame roof for this build. The easiest way to start it is to find your longest continuous wall. For me, it's this one here. Now grab a stair from your roofing materials and run them right the way along the top of the wall until you reach another intersecting wall. Do the same on the next block down. And don't finish it flush with the end of the wall. Extend it out one block. It just gives you a bit of depth and something to play with. Now come to the other side or to your next external wall, more to the point, and do the same thing. Run it along until you get to an intersecting wall. Do the next row down, extend it by one. Now we've got this ugly block step up. We're going to reduce that by putting upside down stairs. One, it makes it smoother, and two, it gives us a foundation for our next row of roofing. So just continue building up your roofs until they meet at the top. Now, because I have built this with an odd number, I have a gap at the top. If you've built it with an even, these two steps will meet. But a way to deal with the gap is upside down stair and then a row of slabs on top. We can come through and change this up later. Now we're going to work on the roof for the entrance. So we're not going to have a flat expansive roof at the front. That would end up being too dominating. Try to avoid having the same planes right the way across. So we're going to change it. We're going to turn 90 degrees and we're going to build the same sort of roof as here, but in this direction. So upside down stair and bring the stairs across and end where your intersecting wall is. Now this roof and this roof meet, and where they meet we want to have a nice mitre going up. That's where it's 90 degrees, one in one direction, one in the other. The easy way to do this, and this is why I said stop when you reach the intersecting wall, because otherwise it gets too complicated. Just extend your wall along, and each time you build this wall, extend it out by one and your original roof by one so that the blocks meet. Breaking your roof down into pieces and just doing a bit at a time makes it far less complicated. Now we turn the corner and we bring it back again. And at the front here we're doing what we did round the side here. Another way to make your house more interesting and provide more space is to add a second floor, a partial second floor, or a tower. I'm adding a partial second floor in the middle here for a bedroom, well out of reach of monsters nearby who like to stop us sleeping. I'm building this the same way as the bottom floor. oak log frame with an oak plank fill, so it ties together with the rest of the building, and I'm allowing the same maximum height of 4 logs. Now add an A-frame gable-ended roof running in the same direction as the longest wall of this room. Add the same roofs on the remaining rooms. If a roof joins to an upper story wall, make sure that its end, not its side, abuts that wall. And I can see now that we need to extend this. Sometimes leaving your difficult areas till last, that's the best way to do it. So we're going to pull it out by 2. So that's our brewing annex. That's a much better size. Now, because this is such an awkward little shape, I'm not going to make an A-frame. I'm going to make just a little sloped slab roof. So I'm reducing this wall and this wall by 1. And I'm going to put slabs all the way around, and again tucking it under the eaves. And I'm going to bring it up here. This one I'll put like that. And same here. Now we can extend that. And I just bring it up 1 slab height, half a block each time. Yeah, that's much better. Now we fill in our gable ends. We can just fill them in with blocks, which is okay. Or you can knock out the top row of your wall and put logs in. So we're just looking at different textures again. Now that's looking more interesting, but there's no windows. We've only got 1 door. Let's get detailing. For all the door frames inside and outside, an upside down step. Next we're going to plan in windows. It's best to do that from inside. So you work out what you want. Do we want windows in our enchanting room? Probably not. We want bookcases lining the walls, but we can put one up there under the roof line. Doors and windows are a great way to break up flat expanses of wall. Check if you're happy with where you've placed your windows. Think about what makes sense for the spaces inside. Put glass in all your windows. Put whatever your final block is in your door frames and put doors in all your door frames. Now when adding doors, you don't necessarily want them flush with the wall, particularly on the outside. If you're adding an external door, come to the inside of your room and place a door so that it's recessed on the outside, and you can see the point now of having that upside down stair. Think also about zombie proofing your doors. That means putting them in sideways so that that's closed as far as a zombie is concerned, and that's open, and then they won't try to bash down your doors. There's a little tutorial on that linked in the description. The other thing to do is don't use all the same doors for your whole build. Think about which doors would apply for which area. I've got oak at the front so I can see out, and spruce on the smelter room because I think they'd want to keep that warmth in. All that's left now is to do some texture variation and some detailing. All that means is where you've got one type of material, come through and add some blending types. So for the cobble, I'm adding a mixture of stone brick, plain stone and andesite. Not too much, just a bit. Just to add a bit of interest. Another way to achieve this is with details. Detailing can bring a build to life. Shutters made from trapdoors, make some open, half open or closed. Planter boxes, dirt covered by trapdoors. Awnings with gate supports, ladders for trellis, and don't forget lights to welcome you home. Now as for the roof, you can leave it like that, or you can go through and do a bit of variation. If you do something like that, don't forget to spawn proof it either with pressure plates or with trapdoors. Now the other thing is, you've got an expansive wall, you don't like it, cover it up with flowers. Nothing wrong at all with a bit of greenery. And if you've got shears, maybe put in some leaves. I've come back and added an interior and some outside extras. The interiors are simple. Each room has one purpose. This is the little crafting area. We've got storage, the little brewing area, which definitely needed expanding, the smeltery, the enchanting room, and a bedroom. Out the back, there's a nether portal room, so that piglins and hoglins can't run wild at your base. There's mine access and pens for animals. Out the front, I've added a little bit of farmland, a rough path, and of course our greenery. A little bit of planning and some basic guidelines have helped us go from this to this. I know some of you will be looking at this house and thinking, I couldn't build that. Yes, you can. And you can build your own home, which will be different from this. Remember, it's your world, your build. Just go for it and build something that makes you happy. If you want to share your house, I've got a Discord link in the description. And I'd love to see what you come up with. For more of my videos, click on the cards on the screen now. And if you've enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now go get building.